I'm sharing my screen. Are you able to see my screen now? So today we will cover a static block. So this is the in this class we have a static, and a static is open braces and close braces is there. This is not a method, this is a block. So if inside this static, if open curly braces and close curly braces, inside whatever the statement will be there, that is a part of a static block. So this should be mentioned as a static. So if they mention a static, then it should be like a static block. So here we have a class A package section 2 app 2 and class A. Inside the class A, one static block is there. So once the classes will load, all the static block SIB and then all the static method and the static variables and all will be loaded. Once the classes will be loaded, once the a.java will be loaded, in that time all those things will be loaded. But compiler will check the main method. So while main method is there, so this main method have also SOP is there. So if you will run this program, so always SIB will be the first statement from the main, because a static block will be called always the first statement before main method also. So the output will happen from here as system.out.println SIB is there. So first this will be executed, because once the classes is loaded, the static block and everything will be loaded, but a static block will be called first before the main method. And this main method, we have a main method from main SOP. So this will be printed. Like this, we have a second output. So here also have a main method, and a static block anywhere will be there inside the class, anywhere, either the first statement before the main method or last statement before the main method. So this should be valid for anywhere we can write, but a static block always will call first before the main method. So once you run this program, you will get SIB first and then from main. So this compiler will run this one. So this static SIB will be called, and after this form main method will call. So this is a static block. So we can use this all in our real-time work experience while we created any business logic for that. So there we have used a static block, static variables, and static methods things. We will discuss also instance block also, means SIB and instance IIB. We can say IIB. IIB is an instance block. So the next question here, class C, package section 2 app 2. Here class C. Class C have a static block, and then main method is there, and we have a main method again a static block. So in the single class we can have a multiple static block. There is no issue. Like we can use multiple different type of static block, either 100, 1000, 200 and all. So there is no issue with that. So while we run this program, so compiler will execute from one by one, from top to bottom. So once you run this program, so the first SIV will call, this static block will be called, and then second static block will be called, and then main method will be printed. So if you run this program here, then we will get SIV1 because this is, SIV2 because this is, and the main method. So the compiler will always compile from top to bottom. So here we have a static variable. So this is inside the class D. A static int I is a static variable. So a static variable value is not yet defined. So if not yet defined, then by default should be the 0 if integer. If float, then 0.0f. If double is 0.0 d. If string, then null. If boolean is false. If you are not declaring any value. And this is a static block. Why? Because of a static has mentioned inside this open and curly braces I has initialized. So I already declared here I is integer types, because a static will be called on the class loaded. So I is already initialized, declared here integer type. So right now what we are doing in this static block, we are declaring the value of I. What is the value? So here line number 5 is a default value is 0, but while calling this static block I will be the 10. So if you print this main method, compiler will go for the main method will be called. So here, because in static we don't have any SOP, then compiler will go for the main method have SOP. So SOP of I will be, what will be the output for this? So SOP of I is 10. Why? Because of before static int I was at 0, but static block has reinitialized the value of I equal to 10. So once the compiler will call this d.java, then all those things will be loaded, but a static block will be executed first. So I value has reinitialized with 10, but there is no SOP inside this static block. Then it will go for the main method, and main method they are calling some I value. So if I value, then I equal to 10 will be there, because I reinitialize with 10 in a static block. In the same way for this, here in the class E have a static variables int I equal to 1 is there, that is already initialized. Now what they are doing in a static block, they are reinitialized with I1 equal to I2 and main method. So compiler will check static block is there, yes. So static block I has reinitialized. So before I is declared or not, so they will check, oh I is already declared static I. So this is a static type and the default value is already 1. So now again a static block is reinitializing this value, fine. So right now I equal to 2, so I latest value is 2. Then it will go for the main method, then SOP have I, so I will be the 2 because of latest data, latest value is 2 of I. First compiler will execute a static block first. If a static block I equal to 2 is there, then they will check I is what type of things are there. So I is static int I already declared with 1, so they will reinitialize with 2, and then they will call in the main method I. So like that we can use a static block. So here class F is there. Inside the class F, a static int I equal to 1 is there. I equal to 1 is there. This is a static block, and then again what they are doing, a static int I equal to 2 and the main method. So what will be the output here? Can anyone tell me the output? Because a static block has initialized uh, on top to bottom, compiler will execute this top to bottom. So first a static block has executed, so I equal to 1 was there. Now again we have declared a static int I equal to 2, so this I value has 2. Mute है. Instagram पे live. Hmm. So a static int I equal to 2 as there. So what will happen? This SOP will call the main method, and main method have SOP I value. So I value has reinitialized with I equal to 2. So the output will be printed as a 2. The same way we have a class F. Inside this class F, anywhere also we can use a static variable, a static method, and a static block. So the class F1 have main method, in that they are trying for I value, but compiler will check from top to bottom, so there is no I value has initialized, but a static will have a once the classes will load, then all the static variables, method, blocks will be loaded. So here compiler will check what is the I value, what is the data type of I and all. So that is already loaded because main method static is there. Main method will check the static variable. So this is a static variable loaded with the class type, class loading only. So they have already initialized with I equal to 10. So while we using SOP, then I equal to 10 value printed. Here we have a class G have a static. So this is the static block and this is a static variable. So static variable I. So main method, this main method, then so what will happen here, some error is showing. Why? Because of, see here, cannot reference a field before it defined. Here what we are doing, already static is defined here. Once the classes will load, this static variables also will be loaded. So static variable integer type is there and default value will be the 0. But the problem is, in a static block we are calling in a static block. So static block I is, we will get a error while, because of cannot reference a field before it is defined. So here I, if you'll go here, so this is not a block, this is main method. So main method I, integer I we can use here, but block will execute first. So block will execute first before this variable also. So even they don't know what is the I value. So first we need to define this on top of I value, because compiler will execute from top to bottom. So if you will use here, then there is no error, because why, compiler will go from top to bottom. So first they will execute this one, then a static block will be loaded, and a static block is an integer type of I. So if I value is not there, then by default value is 0. But in this case what will happen, here compiler will execute from top to bottom. So the top have a static block is called, but there is no I has initialized. So what is this I? So I static is there, that is fine. When the classes will load, these all will be loaded. But a static block should always call the first this block only. So they are unable to check. So the compiler will get cannot referenced a field before it is defined. So we cannot use. So this is the error you will get. And others we have class H, we have a static variables, and other is a static block. Again we have a same errors. Why? Because I is not yet defined. I is defined in the line number 10, but we are using in line number 8. Why? Because of this is a static block. So this is a static block. So whatever the variable or data type we used, in that case we have to define first. टैब हो तो बैग में यार, बैग के नीचा में मिल लो कहीं बंद कर ना यार, मछली घर बनेने. So once we will compile, then there will be compile time error, cannot reference a field before it is defined. So like that this error will come. So here can anyone tell me the output for this? What will be the output, because we have a static, this is a static variables, and inside this static variable we are calling this test method. So whatever the test method details will be there, that will be initialized here, and then static variables will be declared with the value. And also we have a static block, and we have a static method is there. So a static method, which is this test one, test, and then we have a main method, and then again we have a static block. So what will be the output for this? If you understand, please let me know, so that we'll understand this, what will be the output. And
Like it will come first test, then S1 V1,
Mm-hmm.
no test 10, S1 V1, then done, then again
Okay.
test, then S1 V2. It was calling first test, right? So test, it is test have test, then 10 return. Then
So if you
S1
run
V1
this
equals static.
program, so here what will happen? First is test because of this test method has call here. The first statement is static in test, and this test has test method. So this is test method having a static test method because they are using in a static variables. So this should be also a static test method. So a static test method is there. So name is test. So this test method will be called. So this test method have SOP as test. So this test will be printed and they return 10 because integer type. So this 10 will be initialized here. So a static int I value is 10 right now. Now what will happen? A static block, this one has completed, already initialized with 10, and this test method is called. Okay, now this second variable, second block will be called because compiler will execute from top to bottom. So this static block will be called SIB will print. So this SIP has printed. Now what will happen? Again
Then
this other static block will be called because after that we have a main method. So before main, a static block will be called. So this static block have again SIV 2 is there, so that will be printed, and after that it will go for the main method. So in main method we have done SOP, so this will be printed,
I
and
value.
after that we have I. So I value has initialized with 10 here, so this 10 will be printed.
Mm.
Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that we can practice all the SIP block, static block, static variables, and then static methods and all. So here we are using all the concept. This is a static variables, this is a static block, and this is a static method. So when to use a static method, when to use a static block, and when to declare a static variable, and what is a static main method and all. So the next program here, like same as it is program is there. So the line number 5 we have a variables, a static int I test method. So this test method will be called. So this test method is there, this have integer type. So this test being, then we have main null, then SOP test end, and return 20. And after that we have a static block. So this static block will be executed, then one main method will be executed. So if you run this program here, see this test being is complete because here static test has called this line number first, fourth, fifth, and then test being has started this test being, and then we have a main null. So main null means this will be 0 because they are calling some main. So this main having null. So null means I value will be the 0. Okay, because they are calling this main method main null. So this is null type. Null means I value should be the 0, uh, and after this, so not here, yeah, here only, and then we have a SOP test n, and then return 20. So this 20 is there. So this 20 has been initialized with a static int I equal to 20 in line number 5, and then main being, so this main method will be called, and main I value is 20 here now, and then then uh, we have a SIP
So this
S.
man have a null, but we didn't print it this one, right? The man null, line number 15.
See, the first is first this will be executed, right? Static int
Hmm.
I test. So this test method will call. So this test method is line number 12. This one will be called. So test being has printed, right? First. And after that
Yeah.
main is null. So this null is there. So null, that main 0 has been printed because here we are passing as a null of main. So this main as 0 will be printed, and then we have a test end. So this test end has printed, and then return 20 is there, so 20 will be initialized in line number 5, and after that a static block will call. So before main method a static block will call. So SIV being has started, then again we have a main null. So main null right now, uh, main null, okay, so main null right now, this I value is initialized with 10, right? Because uh, because first time was a main null, so this main method was a null, means the default value is 0, and here main null right now I value is reinitialized with default value is 20, because they return integer type return 20. Before that this default value was a 0. So main null has called. So main null call means this method will be called. This method will be called, main method will be called, and this string argument have null. There's no argument is there, null. So after this SOP will call. So SOP have I value was 0 before, so that's why we printed main 0. Then test n, then SIP being, and then SIP main, again main, this main has called, this main null has called. So this is also main method will call, and a string argument is a ret null, then SOP will be executed, and I main dot I value is now 20 here, because this test method already called and return is 20 as printed. So this will be the 20, and then SIP end, SIV end completed. So this static block completed. Now it will go for the main method. So this main method, again this will be printed main I value. So I value is 20, correct?
Yeah.
So like that we completed this all section 2, app 2 also. Now we have different app 3. So in app 3, app 3 also related for this practice only, like how we will call based on the class name, how we will call this static variable based on the class name, if we have a same variables we are using in method level or class level, or if we have a multiple class. So if I want to use the variables from other class, not inside the class. So suppose I am in B class and main method is using in B class. Now I want to use this static variable information from the A class. So how we can use, based on the class name we can use, or based on the object creations and all, or based on the importing package and all. So these things we have to clarify here. So the first is like a dot java. So package section app 3, class A is there. Here what we have, one is a static int I. So this is one class, this is a one class. In a single package we can access or we can write many classes, uh, many class, either class A, B, C, D, E, F. But you can run based on the class name. If you want to run the particular program, compile we can do any class name. But while you run, whatever class you want to run, based on the class name you can run. Like a dot java, a dot java and all. Java C by using compiler, and Java using running. So here class A is there, class A have a static int I is there, that's it. Now class B is there, class B have main method, but I want to use the I variable from A class. So how you will use? So by default value of a static int I is 0 here, but I want to use that in my class B. So what we will do, class stat as system dot out dot println a dot I. So how a why a dot I? Because a is the name of class. So now I am using this class a, and dot I means class a have a some variable which name is I. So I is not yet initialized. Because of static is there, then we can use the default value of I. So I will be 0 here. So like that we can again some issue happen for this. Yeah, so for this you have to run this class p, because we have a multiple methods are there. So by using compilers or a command promo, you can use the class p, you can run this class p, you can execute with java c. Java c, suppose a dot java, that will be compile all the class a and b. And if you want to execute the class b only, then you have to do some java then class name only b. So once you will execute this, then what will happen, they will execute this main method, and there they have to check this, oh, a dot java, so a already compiled, so a have already integer type of I is there, and default value 0 will be printed like this. So if you'll go for the next program here, so this is the declaration, how we can declaration enum, class, interface and annotation. So this way we can declare. If you are using class, then you have to mention class in the class name. If you are using enum is the constant value we can use inside the enum, we will discuss later. So enum, directly you have to mention enum and then enum name. If you want to use interface, then you have to mention the interface and the interface name. And if you want to use the annotation, then annotations, whatever the annotations you use, at the rate and the annotation name and then reference. So here we have a at the rate interface is a annotation, which references f type of interface is there by using annotation based. This is without annotation based, this is class, and this is enum. So like that we can declare multiple things in a single package inside this. Either we can use multiple class inside this class interface enums and all we can use. Here we have a class f and class g. There are two classes are there. One is class f1 and class g. Class f1 have a static variable, and then main method is there, and then main is there. So main, here what we are doing, I we are calling. So I, if you are calling, then in single method, single class, only one instance there, so this will be called. If you are calling f1, so f1 is the class name and I is a variable, a static variable, so this will be called, because here only if you are running with f1 class. And if we are running with g1 g class, so in this main method also there, and inside this main method f1 dot I he want, because in g class we don't have any static int I. So what will happen, this will be called from the f class, so directly we can't use from the f class. So either we can mention the class name dot variables. So class name is f1 and dot variable means I. So if you will run this, then you will get a default value of I. So we are not able to run, why? Because of here two classes are there, and compiler is want to know like which class we need to run, either f1 class or g1 class. If I will use f1 class, then we will get these two output. If we will use g1 g class, then we have this output. So you can practice this all in your online compiler or in local command promo. So here we have a class h, we have a static block, so this is sib, and this is the main method. So in this main method is h dot main. So if you want to run this program directly, you can run, because single class is there, and sib will call first from the main method, before the main method, and then the main method will be called. Like that we have a we have this program. So this is a two classes. One is class J, other is class K. So class J have a static block 1, other again a static block, and then main method. And then class F K is there a static block, then main method, then a static block. So if you'll run this program from the J, then JSIB will call, JSIB2 will call, and main method. If you will run this program from the K, then KSIB will call, then KSIB2 will call, then K main method will be called. But what we are doing, just we are doing here, see here, while we are running, we are getting these two options. Even in command also, command promo also you can check. So here either compiler is asking for either J you want to run or K. If I want to run this J, then compiler will show the J output, JSIB, JSIB2 and main JSIB main. If I want to run from the K, then K will have a K, SIB1, SIB2 and main method, you know. Like that we have again two classes. One is the static block and method is there, main method. Other is a static block and again main method is there inside main method SOP, and then they are doing some argument. So L dot main argument means L class. This L dot means L class, and main argument means this one, this main method, and args type means argument type. So L dot main args will be called. And SOP will be printed and main end. So while we run this program, what will be the output? So here again they will ask either L type or M type. So if you do this M type or L type, then L will be called, and if you do with the M type, then M data will be called. But in M we have also L dot main argument, so that also will be called. So here also same way, like we have a static variable, then a static block, class O is there, a static block is there, and then they are calling this SOP, and then n dot I, n dot I, n dot I, and then so whatever the n dot I is there, so this value will be called, because once you run this one, so static variables I equal to 10 as initialize, this will be called. So like this one have again same as it is. So we have a one is block, another is method, and we have a main method. So in main method this SOP will printed, and this all the test method will be printed repetition 3 times. P test, so P test. So once the method will be loaded, then a static block will be loaded. So see here, what is this? We'll discuss P later because so output is not printing here. Right here. So this is the R here. We have a static variable declared, so this fine. This is the S here. We have a static method is there. So this method is there. This is the T. Then we have a main method. Inside this we are calling, see that way also we can call. Just we can import this package detail. Suppose if same package, then no need to import. Always a static method will be called based on the class name already we discussed. So here what they are telling, SOP in the main method system.out.println r.I, they are calling some arc.java. So r is the class name, dot I is the variables, and then s dot test method they are calling. So first we will check r is the class name is available or not inside this section 2 app3, because they are not importing means the same package will be there inside the same package. So section 2 app3 r is there or not? Yes, r is there. So this is the r. Inside r, I is declared or not? Is r is declared with 10 value. Okay, so in this t, r dot I will be the 10 value will be printed. Again they will check s dot test. So s is the class name and test is the method inside the class. So s is available inside this package section 2 app3. Yes, is available. So section 2 app3 s is available. Yes, available. Now here some test method is there or not? Yes, test method is there, means this will be printed. So like this, s has been printed. Now we will go for this. uh, this will be the output if you run this program. Say I dot r dot I equal to 10 and s dot test means s dot test. If you go here, s dot test, form test is there, right? So 10 and form test will be there. So this will be printed in this. The same way you have. So in you has a static block is there and main method is there. So if you run this program, first static block will be executed and then the main method will be executed. So output is SIB, then main. The same, we have a static block again and then we have a main method. Inside main method SOP is there, and after SOP u main argument is there. U main argument means this u is the class name and this class name have main method and this main method have some args. So if you'll go here, u is available because same package section 2 app3, because they are not importing other packages. So if they are not importing, so by default the package name inside the same classes will be available. So u is available, u dot main args. So u dot main is there. Yeah, main have args, right? This is argument, a string type of argument is there. Fine. Machine type of argument is there. Fine. So what will happen here? Inside that, this main u class main method will be called, and after that this dash will be printed. Then again you have a u class main method as a null. This was as an argument, this was as a null, and after that b end will be called. So once you will run this program, see you will get this output. First is VSIB, because the static block will be executed, then main being and this main method SOP printed, then USIB, because u main args. So u main args means u main SIB will call, and then u main, and then u main null, and then u main null, and then v main end. So this will be printed. So you have to check this u main. U is the class name and main having null. So once you will check this u, you have main null, so this will be call. So this u main is the SOP here. So like this SOP has printed u main. Like that we will verify all this block static blocks and all. So if you'll see here, these two classes are there, static variables, static method is there. Then we have a D class, we have a main method, and then class name dot test we are calling, means C1 is the class name and test means inside this C1 we'll have a test method, so that will be execute this. So like that we covered like a static block section 2, app 2 and app 3, both I covered because here some basic concept was there. So this all I covered. Now we will discuss here. So here also we have a class P and then class Q is there. Class P have a static method and a static block is there, and inside this class Q have a main method, they have SOP, and after that they are calling 3 times test. So here once the p dot test, means p is a class name and dot test, this test method will be called. So once this test method will be called, then before that all the SIB will be called. So this is the task for you. What will be the output for this? P dot Java have a P and Q class. So this is the task for you. One concept is there inside that p dot test, p dot test, p dot test we are calling continuously 3 times. So for that what will be the output here? So we will discuss tomorrow. We completed section 2 app 2 and app 3. So here we discussed all the static. So now a static variables, a static block, a static method has completed. Instance variables, instance method we will complete, and package classes details all like completed. Increment, decrements and all completed, and yeah, these things are all completed. Operators also completed. Now we will discuss section 3. So this section 3 having what is there in this section 3? So section 3 will have, yeah, section 3 we will discuss non-static block. So how we can call a static, non-static, what is non-static, when to use the non-static, when to use the statics and all. So see, in this section 3 we will cover a static, already we cover. So this is the static method is there, and this is non-static method because they have there is no static keyword as initialized before. So while non-static keyword should have, there's no static details. So non-static, how we will call non-static method, how to declare instance variables, how we will call IIB, this is instance initialization block. So instance initialization block is nothing but it's a way of declaring one block that is not a static block, so that is called instance block. So whatever we discussed, they all are static. Now without a static, if you are declaring the same thing, then that will be instance IIB. So we will consider this all tomorrow here, SIB, IIB and all. So tomorrow we'll consider all section 3 app 1, section 3 app 2. So these all we will consider. So here app 2, app 1 have a as instance initialization block we will have concept, but in app 2 we'll have a constructor. So how we will create an object for the class, what is constructor, what is default constructor, what is parameterized constructor, when to use constructor, if we are not using constructor how compiler will use automatically, and why we are creating object based on the reference, how we are calling constructors and all. So these things we will discuss for this section 3 app 2. And then after that in app 3 section 3 app 3 we will consider all this sib, iib, constructor, all those things, object. So these all will be the combination. So this is a constructor of the class name. So the class name is b, and this is not a method, this is a constructor. This is iib. If you mention here static, then this will be a static block. So how we will call multiple things in a single class, why we are using, when to use and all. So this will be discussed in app 3. So maybe we'll try tomorrow to complete this all, but before that you can go through all the sections whatever we covered, so that you will understand, else this will be skippable. Okay, is this fine? So here we are closing that session, and then please go for this output for this section 2 app 3 p.java. This out, I need tomorrow to discuss this one. Okay, then we are closing here only. Any doubt? Any doubt if anyone? If not, then we are closing that. Thank you all, and tomorrow we'll reconnect the same time and consider all this instance block and then constructors things we will consider to complete tomorrow. Thank you.